Question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Is there anybody that you would be willing to catch coronavirus to meet? Like you get to spend 2 hours with them, but there's a very high likelihood that you're going to catch the
Rona.
The Rona.
Yeah, there's a short list on that.
Would you rather have Rona or herpes?
Rona.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Herpes is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. The Rona, I mean, you got a decent survivability rate. So
I hear it itches and burns too.
Herpes is a weird conversation with your wife.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially.
So who would you catch the Rona for to meet to spend a couple hours with?
Oh. Well, I mean, you're at the top of that list, so I would, but I get
you don't
to hang
have
out
to
with
catch
you all the time.
Rona.
Right, so we're here. To hang out for a couple hours, Tony Robbins would be definitely towards the top of my list. Yes,
Tony?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's an interesting one. Mm-hmm. What would you want to get out of that if you had a couple hours?
A couple hours. Obviously, I'd want to have some personal conversations just about his journey and things that shape him. And it's crazy when you hear some of the stories of his work day and the hours and how he's trained his body to be able to perform at such a high level. And then to watch him just command, 5,000 to 20,000 people in front of an audience for the length of time that he holds their attention. And then just some sage wisdom and advice for the next 20 to 30 years.
I hung out with him for a couple hours.
No, I didn't.
And I, my buddy Mike and I did, yeah. And I think our expectations were too high of it. Like we had questions that were pretty deep, and he pulled up short on us. He pretended like he didn't know what we were talking about. But I think what you're saying is a little different than what we were asking. But he definitely is good at what he does. There's no mistake that
Well, the other
anybody who can stand in front of 30,000 people and get them all to do what you want is talented.
The other person I would definitely catch coronavirus for is Max Verstappen, because I would want to help him beat Lewis Hamilton.
Who's that?
Talking Formula One racing here. You guys don't know Formula One racing?
Yeah, but who did you
Max
say?
Verstappen, he drives the Red Bull Formula One car. Oh. He won the 70th anniversary of the Silverstone race last weekend. It was a brilliant race.
He beat
Lewis Hamilton. He beat Mercedes. Now,
where was Hamilton?
Third.
Third?
Yeah.
Who was second?
Bottas.
The
other.
Is he the Ferrari
Mercedes
guy?
Driver. No.
He's the other Mercedes guy.
Other Mercedes guy, yeah.
Nice.
And then I would hijack his car, and I go do some hot laps in it. I so would do that.
Have you driven an F1?
I don't even fit in the cockpit. They don't make them for guys like me.
Well, so when I drove it, they took all the seat out. And I was sitting on the metal.
Yeah. You sit actually on the frame.
I hated
of the car.
it.
Wow.
I hated every second of it.
You're like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at the A-arms with little bolts on them. Like, I hated every second.
Yeah,
of it.
the stock cars. Who
would you catch herpes to meet?
I've got two slam dunks. One is David Goggins. I feel like I'd like to have a conversation with that guy because he's got this mind over body thing that he does, and I really think that thered be a lot to learn and glean from that. And the other, I would love to spend some time with Michael Jordan.
Oh, what would you ask Jordan?
I think really about his mindset and understanding the sacrifice that it took to become him. Like, it was a very conscious effort to be where he's at, and he knew he had to give up a lot. Like, what was that point where he recognized that he was willing to sacrifice that to be the best in the world?
Yeah, that's good. So mine would be Jordan Peterson, and he has the Rona.
Yeah. And
so that's what made me think of this question is he's had a rough go of it.
Right. And before we go too far, I think it's really important that you understand he's not the Prime Minister of Canada.
He is the Prime Minister of Canada.
I can't believe you told him that.
So should he be the Prime Minister of Canada? Who's that good-looking guy that's the Prime? Justin
Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
Come on. That guy. The only thing he's got going for him is his dad was the Prime Minister and he's good-looking. But he's not.
No, don't forget about
Whistler leader.
Bike Park up there in BC.
Who?
The Whistler Bike Park up there.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, he's the Prime Minister of Canada. That's one asset that he has. That's another one.
Who is?
I'm just giving you another checkbox to put up there.
But what did you say? I don't understand.
It's irrelevant. Moving on.
You went off the
Was
bike
that your
path on
attempt at humor?
It
totally,
was, yes.
yeah.
I went totally off the bike path.
You got to run the jokes by Christian before the show.
I'm not the joke guy, so I don't do jokes, so it's all good.
You're not a fan of Jordan, right? Or you just haven't watched his stuff?
No, just haven't really watched his stuff.
I'll tell you, man, if you like Tony Robbins, Jordan's the real deal. Like, Tony's manipulating you and using NLP, and like, he's good at what he does. He's programming you and all that. But Jordan lays it out where, like, he shows you the extreme left and the right, and he's more of an educator than a salesman, I think.
Okay.
I see Tony more as a salesman and Jordan as an educator. But I don't think that I've learned more from anybody ever in my life than Jordan Peterson.
Dang.
What would be your favorite Jordan Peterson lesson that impacted you?
So easy. Stop saying things that make you weak.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I remember, it wasn't funny. So Gary and I, the old G-Man, and I were in Florida, and Gary would do this thing where he would book like the rooms and stuff, and he like, it was like, oh yeah, this hotel is great, it's on the water and whatever. And then you show up at the hotel, you've been traveling, whatever, and the hotel was a nightmare. Like, it was under construction, it smelled like mold, it looked nothing like the pictures online, the whole thing. He did it to me once. For some reason, it always happened in Florida. In Florida, once we landed and we were renting an Airbnb, and we were in Daytona during the Daytona 500, but it wasn't about the Daytona 500. We were there for something else. And we rented an Airbnb. And when we called the guy with the Airbnb, it was obvious that we were just renting a room in his house, and he was going to be there.
No.
And I was like, I'm not staying in a house with a guy, like, whatever. So same thing, Gary.
He's all, yeah, when you get here, I'll open up.
The hotel, like, you know, it was just, if you followed the website, it looked like it was a nice hotel. But when we got there, it was different than what it was. And I couldn't sleep. It smelled like mold. There was construction, and it's like 11 at night. And then I have that time change, right, where I'm coming from West Coast to East Coast. So already you have a hard time going to sleep. And I remember it's like almost midnight, and I'm just watching the clock. Like, I got to get up at 5, and I can't sleep, and the whole thing. And I'm watching that Jordan Peterson video on YouTube that is where he's going through the Bible, and he's talking about Noah and the flood. And that's the one where he says the thing about stop saying things that make you weak. And when he went through that part, it's like at 40 minutes in that video, it starts, and then, I don't know, 43 or 44 minutes, he goes into that. I literally got up in bed. I was watching on my iPad, and like, I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. Like, it just hit me like a car. Like, he's the best. Like, people that don't like him don't understand him, because he's like one of the sweetest men ever. I feel like he gave a piece of his soul to the world in the last couple years with, you know, touring and all that. We went and saw him when he came here and met him. But I literally would take the chance of catching Corona to meet him. Probably the only person. But we send our love and send your thoughts to him, because he's had a tough time lately.
Yeah, for sure.
And getting Rona is not, I don't think, at his age. You know, at your age, he'd be fine. But
Well, yes and no. I have a good friend who has it, and he's got the heart condition out of it, and he's having a hard time walking
you
upstairs.
get a heart condition from it?
It can actually it can damage your heart, and it's pretty serious. So,
Man.
yeah.
How many people do you know that have had it?
Me? 2.
Me too.
2?
2.
And I have not had close contact with them, so you're safe. I don't need a mask or anything. We're good.
Yeah, I trust you. Thank you so much for watching this clip of Service Drive Revolution. Now you can catch the full episode on YouTube, iTunes, or Spotify, or wherever you consume your podcast. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.